Hi, I'm Regina Clark, the founder of VisionTalks. VisionTalks is a platform that helps you reach your goals by giving you community and resources needed to support the goals and make it happen. Today, I'm on camera to discuss attachment styles. I really wanted to get on the camera to discuss this in a bit more intimate manner because this is one of the things that's been quite essential with helping me move much faster at attaining the goals that I want. So one of the key things that I am implementing into VisionTalks is having the science that helps you support your goals in a fun manner, right? I would say also many of the resources that I'll be sharing are driven off of coming from experts. So psychologists, neuroscientists, and these people are focusing on, well, not necessarily focusing on, but they have a strong understanding of attachment styles and how, additionally, on how the neuroscience can help support improving your attachment styles. And I say attachment styles because there's characteristics that sit with those, each of them, and you can leverage the beliefs that go with that to more rapidly understand the things that you might have going on. So with that understanding and having a starting list, you can move faster and get towards the goals that you want to achieve. I personally really dug more into attachment styles in November, kind of had a little anxiety attack, a little meltdown around my birthday. A lot was going on. I lost my cousin. She was like a sister, and basically like a best friend to me as well, and like a great sounding board. And, and prior to that, I lost my grandmother in the same year, 8 years before I lost my younger sister. With these things, you go through, I had to help with setting up these funerals and, being immersed in a setting where, I would say not the healthiest dynamic, and, everyone's emotional. That's what comes with the drastic changes in families as well. And different little turbulence, right? So I had this moment, and when I had this little meltdown, I realized like, whoa, this is something that's possibly coming from the past. And it just, the way it felt was just like, I had this feeling of like abandonment. And again, like this particular feeling really is driven off of, I would say, childhood. The more I really understood some things and could connect some pieces, as well as understanding attachment styles and finding a few answers, I was able to really circle back like, no, it wasn't this bad a relationship. It was probably when I was like 2. A story my father was telling me about just not reattaching back to my mother after being in St. Vincent. They left us there for about a month to hang out with family. That's where my mother's from. And, I think that made more sense to the feeling that I was feeling, that lack of like stability. So all of this happened within that feeling and me kind of having this meltdown. I would say 4 weeks, 4 to 6 weeks. I don't know, 4. My cousin passed away October 16th. My birthday is November 19th. So that happened. So really, I didn't have an opportunity to properly recover and grieve. There was so much happening back to back. And a lot of things just hitting different triggers. So once this happened, I tried to reach out to my therapist. I couldn't get to her. Birthday's around Thanksgiving, right? So I then researched, went to Google, went to YouTube, found experts. I'm all about the experts. And I discovered Personal Development School. Personal Development School has quite a bit of tools. So Thais, the founder, is on YouTube, and she's really speaking to some of these things like attachment styles. She also has an amazing quiz on her website. So I took the quiz, found these different things out, the characteristics, and, got tips on how to improve the attachment style, and shared it in my Facebook timeline, and actually had a therapist friend who was like, this is actually really good. So she's having her clients also utilize that particular quiz, because what it does is not give you one, but it shows you of all the 4 attachment styles, what are your percentages? Again, these quizzes are yourself taking these, right? So you get close enough, but once you get the results, you can really look at the characteristics and you can understand, like, does this make sense for me? Yes or no? Pick the traits that make sense and work on those. So understanding attachment styles also is an understanding of how your subconscious thinks, the core beliefs. So your subconscious really is, you're building a lot of these beliefs, definitely like 0 to 2 years old of age. You can go up higher as well, like up to 7, some resources say. So, and your child brain interprets certain things a certain way, and often, maybe not the correct way, especially if you had a household that wasn't as consistent, or people who knew how to be emotionally available. Again, a child can interpret those things differently. And this is not a thing of blaming parents. Parents often do the best that they can. Some people working multiple jobs, don't have the time, single family homes, all of that stuff. And that age range, I was growing up in a single family home. My dad was here and there. And my mother was a consistent figure. So when they dropped us off at 2 years of age, and I had this feeling I would not reattach to my mother. So something happened there. So either way, understanding attachment styles and seeing this list of traits that these things often come with will help you have that fast route to understanding where there's probably opportunities for reprogramming beliefs in your subconscious. That's what I would say I appreciated mostly about it. Is it's a faster way, I feel like, than therapy. I would say therapy is amazing. I'm still doing it. I think it's great because you can really get very personal to go through certain things. I definitely use it when I'm looking at career or different nuances, and really getting, like, targeting specific things that are going on in my life and relating it back if I want to go that route. But I would say the attachment styles, having the list of beliefs, having lists of different needs and likely core wounds and all these different things, you can really figure out, like, okay, what makes sense that I really need to focus on this thing to reprogram these beliefs, right? So in personal development school, what you will see is, beliefs, then create the thoughts. Then what you get is the thoughts create those emotions. Then the emotions then trigger whatever action you end up taking. So if you tackle the belief at the core, maybe you're not capable, people don't like me, or whatever have you. If you tackle those things, that will enable you to be more successful with achieving whatever goal you have. One of the things I really appreciated about personal development school is it doesn't just talk about the romance and love, right? Some people don't have issues there, right? It talks about all of these things, like the 7 areas of your life. So it includes your career, relationships. That bucket can include family, friends, etc. Your mental well-being, spiritual, physical, etc. So it's that well-rounded take on how do these beliefs impact my life. So, when I took this test, and then I can really see through these things, and I can see certain blocks that I had for some of the goals that I wanted. So that's why I really wanted to get on the camera, because people sometimes are concerned with labels and they forget, a label is it can be a temporary thing. It is a tool that you can utilize to help support, gain clarity on how you need to move forward to get to the new label, right? A lot of times we're trying to get to that new level. Some people want to be a millionaire, right? Or something, have the love of their life and all these different things. So when you have that clear path, and I like efficiency. So when you have a clear path, that enables you to move in the direction you want to faster. This is why I say I think therapy is amazing. But I will say sometimes it takes time to dig into certain things and really understand yourself from that standpoint. But, starting with this list, I was able to be like, yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. I need to reprogram my thinking opposite of this. What sort of evidence do I need to come up with that proves that that's not the case? What do I need to repeat in my mind to get said thoughts out of my head? How do I reframe the past? So certain things, certain situations, to understand, like, I know better. So I know I won't end up in that situation again. So I did have like a negative relationship with a poor relationship way back when. But, lost a little trust for myself, and at the end of the day, I think sometimes like getting in that moment of forgetting who I was, right? Because of what that particular relationship felt like. But understanding that, okay, where did I miss in terms of filtering through people? Trusting myself that I now know that I can't end up in any of those situations before, because I just know better. So what they can say is sometimes the negative feelings that we feel in order to, it's there. Certain things are there to protect us. That's what your brain is all about. Your mind is trying to protect you, keep you safe, right? But does it still serve you? Whatever this is, questioning certain actions and asking yourself, does that action still serve me? If not, then toss it. You need to figure out how to reframe it so you can have new actions to support the journey that you want to have. So, what I took was when I took the attachment style quiz, I came up as disorganized attachment, fearful avoidant, or anxious avoidant, all the same. Which it is characterized by having a childhood of inconsistency, chaos, etc. You can also change attachment styles, and it can depend on certain adult experiences, right? Bad relationship, as well. That can, even positive relationships can change your attachment style. So, be mindful of the people who you keep around you, right? And I would also say, in that sense, do they have a growth mindset? Are they open to communication and conflict resolution, all those different things? So again, certain labels don't have to stick. It's just the mindset that people have to consider. And, my particular attachment style, and so why I want to say don't mind the labels, is, they say it's one of the harder ones to change, but I think it's only because it has both the anxious and dismissive attachment tendencies. And the ideal attachment style is secure. So in the childhood, they had consistency. They essentially felt safe. So with these other attachment styles, you kind of adapted your thinking to really judge yourself and not your caregiver to feel safe. That's kind of like the short route. There's more to it, right? But it's your child brain doing this thing. So we have to undo that thinking that what we may have come up with, I'm not enough, or whatever have you. I did something wrong. I'm bad, or whatever have you. There's all these little beliefs that can occur with some of these attachment styles that can create, clinginess, that's the anxious one, or dismissive attachment. It's just like emotional availability is not there. Not that people don't want it, but there's a fear there of what that means and what that can lead to oftentimes. So that's my experience, so disorganized attachment, you can really want those close relationships, but your experience has shown you that they can hurt you. So you fear that. So, you really, and I guess maybe, I would say all my friends, I have good relationships with friends. The people I keep around me are very kind and, supportive. And so that's where it's like over time, learning to trust your judgment. So, close relationships shouldn't be an issue. So, but again, learning about the attachment styles is just a quick path to understanding what core beliefs you might have that aren't serving you in the present. So what you can do is understand these traits, quickly see which ones make sense for your life or don't. Toss the rest. I'm a believer, take what works for me and let me toss the rest, right? And there's science behind all of this stuff. Your subconscious dictates about 95% of how you move and groove through life, right? So if you don't sort that out, all these goals and commitments you really want to make, a lot of times they fizzle away. So, about 60% of the people they say are secure attachment, there's 40 more percent, right? So I would say understanding attachment styles also helps you be more empathetic to other people and what they may be going through, that clarity of not taking certain things personal, learning how to communicate better. You might be able to be more straightforward, but maybe that other person, the words do hurt a bit more, or maybe actions hurt a bit more, whatever have you. So really taking that time to really not take things personal, sharing your needs, understanding what your boundaries are, taking that time to really understand self and understand where am I trying to go. So when you tie the beliefs to your goals or needs as well, you can then be more likely to be successful in achieving those goals. So that's the key thing about learning about attachment styles, is really having that understanding of where am I at now, where do I want to go, and then like bridging the gap so then you can be successful with those goals. So don't mind the labels. There is such thing as neuroplasticity. I would say there is a book that I have. I kind of moved it already, but it's about peak happiness and just reprogramming your brain. This will go out in an email that I'm sending as well. What you can do is just take the time. Daily small habits is what can change your attachment style or change your mindset to be able to build the beliefs that you can achieve the things that you want to achieve. Again, reminder, be mindful of those who you keep close to you. Be mindful of the way they speak to you. You can also speak up on what you will allow and not allow, again, in a cool, calm, collected way, right? I would say also be kind to yourself. Figure out how you are speaking to yourself. Are you speaking to yourself kindly? I think I have to remember to not, sometimes I'll be like, oh, I'm this way, but it's like, who said that, adapted thinking to be like, just certain mindsets. So being mindful of how you speak to yourself, and does it align with the goals that you have set for yourself and how you want to move and groove in the world. There is such thing as growth mindset. Have one. Be mindful of your self-worth. Everybody's worthy and you're enough, right? I'm sure if you're watching this, you're probably a kind person. The more you know, the better you can do. The more we become better communicators, the more we can, have our needs met, right? And a lot of these attachment styles is an understanding of needs and boundaries and all of these things. Certain goals you might have, you might need a support system to achieve that goal. I would always say you can build towards a better future. You just need that bit of knowledge. The world is full of abundance, right? You can achieve, sometimes you lose things and then you can gain it back, and oftentimes it's better, right? Some people will be in your life and they'll be out of your life. But there's billions of people, right? So not to say that anyone's disposable, but, there's always opportunity out there. That's really what I'm trying to get at. Let the past be the past, right? I'm not one of those people who say like, oh, just let it go, forget about it, all these things, because it doesn't work that easily. But what I will say is reframing, learning how to reframe the past. That's the thing that is helpful. So taking the lessons from the past, understanding that, oh, I do know better today. So that thing maybe that I did or somebody did to me or whatever, I know how to avoid that situation now, or I can manage it better because my self-talk, my self-worth, all of that stuff is now better. So trusting that process. What do they say? Fail forward. A failure is not necessarily a failure. It doesn't have to be. You could take a lesson and then improve upon it. Seize the opportunities to move forward. So at the end of the day, don't forget who you are. Don't let anybody tell you who you are, because one, that can change. And two, are they with you 24/7, 365? Probably not. So we move and groove in different situations, right? So, today is a new day. It's also a new year, right? 2023, lots of opportunity. Again, attachment styles, great way to quickly understand where you're at now from a core belief standpoint. Again, pick and choose. And then when you understand that, you can really kind of move forward at a faster rate to undoing some of that and some of the negative beliefs that may come with that, as well as, again, how you interact with other people and having a bit more empathy, moving through the world and understanding things don't have to be taken personally or whatever, all these different nuances. So for achieving your goals, if certain things may not be going the way you want it to go, a good way to do it is to start looking at your attachment style, what it is currently, looking at the list, and then working your way towards having those new beliefs align with the goals you have set for your life in the different areas of life. So there will be more to come on this, but I really wanted to get this out there so you can really understand attachment styles. Start looking into it. I'll continue to share more information about the subconscious and how to do certain things to achieve those goals, but the platform will also include this information once we actually launch with the full version of you being able to go in and have those building blocks as well as that community. So have a good one.